Hello, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Farmers from across Louisiana put harvest on hold to gather in Ruston for a rare opportunity. FaceTime with the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives.
Congressman Mike Johnson, joined by American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall and Louisiana Farm Bureau President Richard Fontenot, sat down with Louisiana Farm Bureau leaders to celebrate a major victory for agriculture, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
We're here today to celebrate the One Big Beautiful Bill for agriculture, but also to celebrate agriculture throughout this great state and Farm Bureau. With Speaker Johnson having only one day in August recess to visit his district, he invited agriculture to the table. Whenever you have this many producers across the great state, not only driving 4 and 5 hours, but it's harvest season. They're parking combines, they're parking tractors to come share their appreciation and support of not only what the Speaker's done, but what Louisiana Farm Bureau has done for them and carrying that message to come show him from across this great state what agriculture means not only to us but to him and the administration and to Louisiana as a whole.
Yeah, we're really excited to deliver the One Big Beautiful Bill for the American people. All boats are going to rise across the economy. All hardworking Americans are going to do better, but specifically in the ag and in the community with farmers and ranchers, they'll get a lot of assistance here. The commodity prices will be addressed. We're going to have a decrease in trade barriers around the world, so more American ag products and commodities will be shipped around the globe, and we'll have lowered tariff and trade barriers because the president is negotiating all these favorable trade agreements. But the tax piece is so important because small operators, small businesses, small farms will be able to expense a lot of their investments in growing their farms and adding more and more. So it's a good thing for the American people, a good thing for the ag community, and it's top of mind for the president and for all Republicans in Congress who will continue to work on it.
We think that everybody knows why we do and what we do on the farm, and that's not true. Less than 2% of us are on the farm doing that, and we understand it. But my time with the President of the United States of America, the most powerful man in the world, proved to me our stories are important because he had question after question after question about why is the economy on the farm bad? Why do you need crop protection tools like pesticides? So he can understand. And you would think someone like him would understand, but then when I left, I realized that he's a real estate guy. Why should we expect him to know that? And that tells me that our stories are so important because with understanding of what we do and why we do it comes trust. And with that trust comes support. And what we need is people to support our food system so that we can continue to keep their pantries full and keep that national security that assures our country.
Food security is national security, and we are the people that produce and feed America. Our districts like mine, there's a lot of members of Congress who don't fully understand and appreciate that because they may not come from an ag district, and so we have an education challenge on our hands all the time. So it is top of mind for us. You have great leadership with Farm Bureau that are in Washington all the time. They hearing from their constituents makes a big difference, and so it's a full team approach. That coordination between all those elements is what's going to make us produce good policy, and we're really excited about what's ahead of us.
Speaker Johnson says he's very optimistic that Congress will be able to deliver a new farm bill by the end of the year. Louisiana Farm Bureau leaders say they'll keep working to make sure agriculture stays at the table and at the top of the agenda.
Louisiana Congressman Clay Higgins is asking President Donald Trump for higher tariffs on rice imported from Thailand, saying it's a threat to Louisiana farmers. In the letter, Higgins says jasmine and long grain rice producers are particularly impacted by imports from Thailand. He cites a flood of Thai rice that's displacing purchases from American rice mills and depressing prices for farmers. He asked Trump for tariffs as high as 100% on Thai rice imports. When we're shooting this show on August 6th, tariffs of Thai rice sit at about 19%. Higgins called for similar tariffs on rice and seafood from other countries earlier this year.
The American Farm Bureau Federation is deploying new tactics to aid in developing the Make America Healthy Again, or MAHA movement. AFBF sent a list of recommendations to the MAHA Commission, calling for advancing American innovation by dedicating funding for agricultural tools and machinery. They're also asking for public investments in agricultural research, support for pesticides, and a means for schools to buy directly from farms for kids' meals. You can read the full list of recommendations from AFBF right now on TWILATV.org. This year, dozens of 4-H students from across the state got the trip of a lifetime, getting to tour Ireland and see how farmers operate in different parts of the world.
That sounds awesome. It was a 10-day expedition from Dublin to Galway and back. TWILA's Carl Wiggers and Josh Meeks got to tag along and now join us from the Emerald Isle.
That's right, Kristen and Avery. We are in Ireland, literally the Emerald Isle, surrounded by so much green. It's so vibrant here, you can almost taste the green. It's just everywhere. So beautiful. And we are so fortunate to have been invited on this trip by Louisiana 4-H. We are tagging along with more than 100 students and teachers and volunteers, staff, parents, to explore this beautiful country.
Yeah, and I'm nervous that our words or our video will not do this justice. I mean, it's just awe-inspiring driving down the roads on the wrong side and just getting to tour some of these farms and seeing the sights. It's beautiful, and I'm really hoping that we do it justice. With such a large group that we have, we're split into 2 buses and 2 groups, the other being a few days ahead on the itinerary. So we'll be following some of these students to really take in the agriculture, take in the culture that we see all across the Irish countryside.
And our coverage starts in what better place to see the center of Irish culture and history, Dublin.
After nearly half a day on a plane, including some of these kids' first ever time flying, these 4-Hers landed in Ireland ready to explore.
It was honestly like really scary, but also really exciting to be on, like I've never touched this land before.
Addie Hines from Tangipahoa Parish says the time change is the hardest part about traveling so far.
We got like 3 hours of sleep last night. We got on the plane pretty late, and then when we got here it was 7 o'clock in the morning, so all day yesterday flying and then 3 hours of sleep, and we won't get to our hotel till 9 p.m. tonight, so I'm very exhausted.
Despite the exhaustion, she's taking it all in. There's a lot to learn your first time in a foreign country. Ireland uses the euro. The main language is English, but many kids are taught Irish Gaelic in school, and the country only gained its independence from Great Britain in 1922.
There's places here in Ireland that are twice as old, 3 times as old as the country we live in. They're older than the colonies that started America.
Dayton Pennington says he was fascinated by the tour of St. Patrick's Cathedral, a building nearly 3 times older than the USA.
It was amazing to see the history, not just from when the church was established, but even going up to going into like the 1800s, going into the 1900s. Like, you can tell that the church has been alive and it's still growing since it was founded.
And of course, there are plenty of castles. At Kilkenny Castle, built in 1260, Sanea Stewart says she was taking inspiration to design her future house.
My favorite room was probably, I don't know the name of it, but it was like the gallery. It was red and had like a bunch of different paintings in it. It was huge. The ceiling was painted. It was so pretty. It was like my favorite room. Ireland isn't only rich in history. It's also the 2nd wealthiest country in the European Union. Dublin is home to booming tech and pharmaceutical industries, but they haven't forgotten their roots. The 4-Hers got the treat of a traditional Irish music and dance show. Remember how big Riverdance was in the States way back when? Well, it's still alive and kicking here. Gracie Moore immediately jumped up to dance with the performers.
Me and my mom, we're always doing kind of crazy stuff like that. We like to venture out and just do fun stuff. She's hoping to make the best out of this trip because she caught the Irish bug at a young age.
So when I was in pre-K, we had a lesson on St. Patrick's Day, like the dancing that they do in Ireland, and my mom has a video of me on Facebook that she posts every year of me doing the dancing, so I just kind of loved it ever since.
And there's still so much more to look forward to.
I'm very excited to see the sheepdog presentation. I think that that's going to be very interesting.
I'm probably most excited for the cattle farm.
Seeing the castles and the different buildings and the architecture here.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so it's huge. It's huge. It's humongous.
Walking around pretty much any street, you're going to find one of the most notable brands that everyone associates with Ireland, and that's Guinness. And this next story is about one of the country's biggest agricultural exports, horses. The beautiful grounds at the Irish National Stud and Gardens are breathtaking. This is where Louisiana 4-H students got their first look at Irish agriculture with a guided tour from David Wardell, the tourism manager at the Irish National Stud. He says tours like this are part of the core mission of this farm.
We are a semi-state organization which primarily breeds top-class racehorses. We are the showpiece of an industry in Ireland which is, people don't really understand it. It employs over 30,000 people and brings in a huge amount of foreign investment.
The students walk the expansive fields to learn about the past and see the future of the Irish racing industry. Wardell explains the success in raising great horses lies deep beneath these green fields and is rooted deep in Irish culture.
And it's the limestone in our land, all that heavy mineral content, which grows such wonderful big bones, strong bones. It's no coincidence a lot of Florida and Kentucky is a limestone land, but also it's been around forever. It's not just racehorses, it's sports horses, it's show jumpers, it's Connemara ponies. It's in our DNA.
Addie and Michael Hines have horses at home, once used for Michael to rodeo with. Michael says a tour like this has a huge value to everyone, regardless of experience with livestock.
Oh, it's amazing, you know, and what's even better than that is kids that don't necessarily grown up on a farm or grown up around livestock have the opportunity to either A, learn about it, but still come see it and be a part of it. So it's amazing art.
Addie loved how much space the horses had to graze.
What I really thought was interesting was that these horses aren't in like stables 24/7. They're able to go out and graze and things like that.
It was a huge farm with like a bunch of different types of animals, and they were all like spread out and they all had enough space where they could just kind of walk around. I really loved that. I thought it was very cool.
That's Gracie Moore from Wynn Parish. She's one of the many animal lovers on the trip. While she and all of the students enjoyed seeing the fields and horses, there was something else here that was a bit more hands-on, the Irish racehorse experience. Here, participants paired up, a jockey and a trainer, to buy a horse, name it, train it, and ultimately take that horse to the track, virtually.
This one's mine. This is fun. My poor horse. All right, I gotta get it. Okay, I'm fit. I gotta move. We need to pick up some speed, horse. The arms are getting tired. Third place.
Gracie won the race with Sierra in second and Addie third.
My strategy, I thought that like going like this would make it go faster, but I think I was wrong.
Regardless of the standings, these kids learned a lot about the racing industry through this experience.
You have to start at short distances to get them good at that and then expand to longer distances.
I think what I learned was how crucial training actually is. Like if you miss one thing and one thing is, low, like it could really affect that horse's performance in the races.
More than racing, this tour highlights the role this farm plays in Irish agriculture, which is something David is very proud to show his guests.
And as someone said to me earlier, they didn't really understand why this was part of farming. But if you do the tour here, you understand that this is a commercial farm. They could be sheep, they should be cattle, but they happen to be 5-star hotel for horses. It's exactly the same. We are a commodity to breed the finest, strongest, fastest racehorses in the world.
And that was just the first of many stories we are so excited to bring to you from here in Ireland. Join TWILA all August long. We'll be showing you cliffs, cattle, castles, and so much more from across the Emerald Isle. But for now, signing off for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks.
And I'm Carl Wiggers. Back to you guys.
Now you can find all of Carl and Josh's blog posts, pictures, video, and everything else from Ireland on our website at twilatv.org.
Ground beef prices are up 12% since last summer and hit a record high this year. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. That said, cattle prices are also hitting record highs, which is making this an interesting time to be in the cattle business. That's one of the reasons why the Louisiana Cattlemen's Association hosted this event in Welsh. This is the inaugural Cowpokes and Cattlemen held at the Lacassine Sugarcane Community Center. Organizer Brett Richard says he was looking for a way to get younger people involved in LCA and came up with the idea for this event.
Yeah, man, it's a great time to be in the cattle business. It's a little hard to get in with the price of admission right now, but there's programs, whether it's with FSA, USDA, there's ways to get in, and our hope is that we can show them with different tools that we talk about today that there's ways to manage the business to be able to be profitable, be successful, so they can continue to stay in business for years to come.
The more than 100 people in attendance heard presentations about herd health, record keeping, and animal nutrition. Still to come on TWILA for National Farmers Market Week, the National Mall in D.C. turns into a giant farmers market.
Plus, Coca-Cola's announcement about using cane sugar is already affecting Louisiana sugarcane farmers. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
It's National Farmers Market Week. The week-long celebration kicked off in our nation's capital with the transformation of the National Mall into a giant farmers market.
Louisiana was represented there by the folks at Four Sisters Rice and by TWILA's Tammy Arender, who brings us that story.
The green space between our nation's capital and the Washington Monument is normally just that, a green space. But a portion of this 200 acres is now turned into the Great American Farmers Market. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, along with the administrator of the Small Business Administration, Kelly Loeffler, wanted National Farmers Market Week to be like no other. Rollins' goal? To have producers from all 50 states represented so that visitors to D.C. will know about the passion and hard work of our farmers and ranchers.
And I hope they understand that their meat and cheese and vegetables don't come from a grocery store. They come from a hard-working farmer that works 7 days a week, 365 days a year, that the government has to get out of their way, support them, but get out of their way to continue to provide for America.
It was a monumental challenge to get fresh produce and meat products to the nation's capital, so only about 35 states participated. For Four Sisters Rice out of Marouge, Louisiana, the 1,000-plus mile trip was worth the cost.
It's so worth it just to be here to represent Louisiana and just to show our product to so many wonderful people here in Washington.
For the Hancocks out of Belle Alton, Maryland, it was a chance to show visitors who may never step foot on a farm where their food comes from.
I hope just maybe a little more appreciation for where their food comes from, or just maybe an idea of where their food comes from. A lot of people think it comes from the grocery store and they don't think about anything beyond that. So hopefully they think a little bit about where it comes from. We also like to promote, if you don't buy your produce from us, we'd love to have you buy your produce from your local farmer wherever you are.
This was also a chance for Secretary Rollins to shake hands and listen to the farmers and ag companies she represents. She and Loeffler have made rural America a priority, explaining how farmers markets in particular not only help feed their local community, but help those communities thrive.
Nothing means more to local communities than our small businesses, so let's get out and support them. And Brooke, thank you for doing this incredible event to celebrate America's 250-year heritage, and particularly the American farmers' role in that.
The importance of locally grown produce, the importance of how healthy it is, and what we can do at USDA over the next coming months and years to really pivot in a pretty big way into that lane of policy to open up the markets for smaller farmers and to produce healthier food for those local communities.
I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
There are 8,600 farmers markets throughout the U.S., according to the USDA. In late July, President Donald Trump announced that Coca-Cola would use cane sugar in its regular Coke.
In an interview with Axios New Orleans, Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain said that since that announcement, the value of Louisiana sugar has jumped nearly 7%. We are the leader in sugarcane production in the United States, so such a deal would be a significant boost for the state's economy, as well as for our sugarcane farmers. Strain says the state expects to produce more than 2 million tons of sugar this year, with more expected next year. At the LSU Ag Center's Sugar Research Station Field Day, ag scientists showed off how a new variety of cane is showing promising results.
As LSU Ag Center reporter Craig Gautreaux tells us, they're also keeping a close eye on a new invasive weed.
In January, Louisiana's sugarcane growers were concerned, seeing their crops buried under more than 6 inches of snow. It turned out the snow was a blessing, but another weather event soon after had a more profound effect.
But we had a lot of snow, 6 to 8 inches in places. That was an insulator that protected the crop. The bullet that we didn't dodge was the freeze 1 month later in mid-February.
That freeze thinned out stands across the state, especially in the central and northern parts of the cane belt. But even with that, the crop has progressed and is ahead of schedule.
We hit our grand growth phase about 2 or 3 weeks early. The grand growth phase is our maximum growth period. Our crop can grow as much as 1 inch a day.
After 12 years of testing in fields and labs, the U.S. Department of Agriculture released the variety HOCP 18-803. According to Ag Center breeder Michael Pontiff, 803 has many positive attributes.
803 was determined to have good tonnage, good stalk size, good sugar, medium maturing sugar, especially in the plantain and the first stubble crops, actually doing statistically and significantly better than LO1 299, which is the leading variety in the state for the past several years.
Matt Foster, an Ag Center weed scientist, told the group that an invasive weed, Lupha quinquefida, was found for the first time in the state in late 2024.
It's native to Central America and has the potential to lodge cane, bring it to the ground, similar to like a tie vine. It wraps around the cane, can cause issues with harvest, clogging the machine.
Because the cane is ahead of schedule, Gravwall believes planting will begin later this month. With the LSU Ag Center, this is Craig Gautreaux reporting.
Still to come on TWILA, the Agri-Aquaculture Center of Excellence may be a mouthful to say, but it's also making strides in conserving water. We'll take you inside right after this. While aquaponics might sound like a group class you would take at the YMCA, it's actually a growing part of Louisiana agriculture.
Combining aquaculture with hydroponics, the Agri-Aquaculture Center down in New Orleans is changing how we look at regenerative ag. TWILA intern Alexandra Kling takes us inside.
The Agri-Aquaculture Center of Excellence is opening a new chapter in farming by blending agriculture and aquaponics to grow lettuce through a closed-loop system. The lettuce is able to grow on water with nutrients obtained from the waste of catfish. Program Coordinator Paul Begay leads a tour for representatives from all over Louisiana to show the process. State Representative from District 37, Troy Romero, admires what he has learned about the closed-loop system.
I guess I've seen hydroponics before, but nothing like this, not aquaponics, not where they're utilizing water that has been fertilized by other animals, catfish, to grow beautiful, beautiful heads of lettuce.
Seeding for the lettuce is even faster with the vacuum seeder. Greenhouse Seed Operation Assistant Kylie Miller intrigued State Senator for District 33 Chairman of the Agri-Center Community, Stuart Cathy.
How little waste there is. Everything is used. Everything is marketable. And I think that's, as we look for efficiencies in everything that we do, I think that this is really an efficient process. And so I think that was one of the things that really blew me away.
Even the Director of Operation, Thomas Pad Skid, had a jump scare. The presentation walks the representatives through a new perspective, with Paul making it clear that the Agri-Aquaculture Center of Excellence wants to work together.
We want to work with farmers. This is an and, not an or.
State Senator Cathy thinks with this operation and working together can make a lot of problems go away that most farmers face.
I think this facility presents a new creative opportunity, eliminating some barriers to entry that young farmers may have.
The facility will be expanding, but Representative Romero agrees that the Agri-Aquaculture Center of Excellence can't do this without the input of finances.
But funding is important because this is kind of grassroots, right? This is not your normal farming environment. It's grassroots. So it's going to take some startup dollars to be able to, make this possible.
With the Agri-Aquaculture Center of Excellence's new system and help from the community, this can be the solution farmers have been waiting for, leading agriculture in a new direction. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Alexandra Kling.
For more information about booking your next tour, or if you're interested in volunteering, check out our website at twilatv.org. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll show how Louisiana jasmine rice stacks up as we go feasting on agriculture.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. You can also find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you know when we put something new out there.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.